You want people that believe in and trust and feel good and will use your services and go, do you know what? That's absolutely a bit of me. I love it. I'm on board with it. I do this and I do that. And then people bounce ideas off each other, which is really, really important, because ultimately then within a community, you all support each other. There's no competition. There's all collaboration. You find ways of working together. So if they've got a client and they're in your community and they do a different service, they could recommend them to you. So because you can collaborate on stuff. If you try and collaborate with someone who's nah, don't get it, not for me, it's not going to work, is it? It's not going to go very well. Hi and welcome to the Small Business Podcast for small businesses. And today we're talking all about community, and I cannot express how important community is to a small business. That's working with other businesses, working with local businesses. Is it that you've got a network of small businesses, like who does your website, who's your accountant, do they all talk to each other? And you end up with this lovely community. But also there's another element of building a community that will ultimately become your clients and customers. Now, there's several around this, and we've got several around here, and they normally surround networking groups. So either networking groups or specific groups to what you do and what you're interested in. So for us, we might create a community for social media help. So it might be social media. So the community might be part of our networking groups, and we would do social media specific networking. Or it might be that we have a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group or some sort of forum where people can talk to each other and bounce off each other, talking all about social media. So it's really important that you have a theme, because ultimately that community builds around them sharing their problems. This helps with content, but also they can kind of help each other, and you can share bits and pieces, and then you can drop in things that are for pounds. So you can sell a download or a course or one-to-one help, whatever it might be. But building that community can make, in any which way form, can make such a difference to a small business, because also you get that word of mouth recommendation, which is absolute marketing gold. So how do you do it? Do you have a community? Do you just work solo? Which is absolutely fine, by the way. But when you're starting out, and especially now when you get going, you want to build some sort of community to people to join in, sign up, whatever it might do, whatever type of business you are. You might be in a community and you don't even know it. This is common in the construction industry. It's just we've got contacts. Well, ultimately, their contacts are part of everybody knows everyone. So what does that become? So why is it really important? So it's important to find your tribe, which is one of the sayings. You'll see it all the time on social media, where it's actually all about finding the people that speak to you, the people you want to work with, the people that want to work with you, because it's not everybody. And I promise you, I've said it so many times on this podcast, it is not everyone. You do not want to work with everyone, and they don't want to all work with you. Harsh, but true. And if you do flip reverse it, and I put 10 people in a room that you knew on different levels and for different reasons, I guarantee you would not want to work with those 10 people. And that's not a massive negative. That is just, you might not click, you might not agree, you might not get on. You're not their kind of person, which is absolutely fine. And that is why more and more people will try and build some sort of community. And it might be just within their industry of network of contacts, but they will build something intentionally or unintentionally to have that group of people that are recommending them, that they can help, that can help each other. And it's just really, really important, because you end up with a whole load of like-minded people in the same space. So think of different industries. So for example, there's a huge thing around eco at the moment. So people that are really, really into using eco products, saving the planet. We've got a whole load of people that are health and well-being, that use things like crystals that help each other for mindfulness. Whereas you'll have other people that will go, I'm sorry, what? that doesn't. Normally it's because they don't know anything about it, but you get two types of people. So that person that you're talking about mindfulness and looking after yourself and wellness, and then you've got someone that's like, nah, don't believe in it. No, just not for me. Don't get it. Then that's not your kind of person. They're not going to be in your community, but you don't want them in your community in the nicest possible way, because you want people that believe in and trust and feel good and will use your services and go, do you know what, that's absolutely a bit of me, I love it, I'm on board with it, I do this and I do that. And then people bounce ideas off each other, which is really, really important, because ultimately then within a community you all support each other. There's no competition, there's all collaboration, you find ways of working together. So if they've got a client and they're in your community and they do a different service, they could recommend them to you. So because you can collaborate on stuff. If you try and collaborate with someone who's nah, don't get it, not for me, it's not going to work, is it? It's not going to go very well. So it's really important to just find those people. And it might be that those people change over time. It doesn't have to be the same people all the time, because people evolve, people change. People might evolve their services, they might evolve their businesses, they might even evolve their personal beliefs and values, because you want the same people with the same values, because you'll work better together, same morals and values, because you will give the same energy off as each other and you will attract the same clients. And just think, how easy is it to have someone recommend you and say, use this person, than you going out looking for a cold lead? It just naturally fits. And this can fit in any industry. So no matter what you do, this will fit with your business and what you do. So just have a think and maybe sit down. I love teamed up, scared of my big bits of paper. I love a big A3 bit of paper. I'll sit and do a very traditional spider diagram with us in the middle. Who do we want to work with? Where do we go? Who are we collaborating with? I did it at the very, very start when I opened the doors of Breakout. I sat there and made a list of the local area of the businesses I was aware of that I wanted to work with. I liked the look of them for some reason. I was drawn to them for some reason. And hands up, a couple of them I worked with, it did not work. We had very different morals and values. It did not work, but we tried. Absolutely fine. But they weren't part of our community, and they never kind of came into it either. They were kind of on the outskirts. It was a very transactional relationship, and that's not how we work. We work very close with our clients, although we don't tell people who they are. Although look at our stories and our shares, you'll get a fair idea. But I also share people I just genuinely love what they do as well, so you kind of never know. But it's really, really important that to us that we work with people, because if we can help them grow, they ultimately will need our services more. So then we grow together. So it's in our interests to support their business and promote their business, because especially if they're working with us already and we give them more clients, whether it is in marketing or bookkeeping or the website, if they're getting more clients, they're getting more income. They will then need to adapt to their website, make changes, evolve that. They will need more bookkeeping because they've got more transactions going through. They will need more marketing because you've got more content to show. And it's like I said to someone the other day, we're consistently and putting out our social media because we teach social media. So it'd be weird if we didn't, but we are very, very fortunate that we don't have to do too much, but we always will do, because we need to know how it works. We're testing, we're trialing, and we can show. And that's one of the things we do in our courses is, we tried this, look at this reel, or we tried this post. Normally reels are through the roof. At the moment our posts are more popular, so that's really important to us. But if you are successful and you've really niched down and grown your business and you know exactly who your client is, then we evolve with you. Or social media, it might be that, okay, do you know what? I don't need Facebook anymore. I'm just going to focus on Instagram. That's where my community is. And it's people that comment on and share and just really help nurture your business like it's their own. Some people are all about Facebook, and it's a Facebook group, and they're sharing and commenting and helping people and giving advice in a Facebook group. So just consider it. That could be online, or it could be in real life. It could be at networking meetings. It could be them meeting people for coffee. It might be an email round robin that everyone's sharing. It might even be a WhatsApp group. It might have a specific industry WhatsApp group. I've got one client, their industry uses chat forum, and they can go on and they can see what everyone else. So ultimately, you'd look at them and go, they're complete competition, but their industry isn't competition. They collaborate, they work together and communicate. Because if I'm talking to another social media manager, and we met one for coffee the other day, and we've got very similar issues, but at the same time, very different issues, because we look after a completely different target market. So if I have her ideal client coming to me, I'm going to recommend them to her because that's not my target market. That's her target market. So that's our own little community, even though we, on the face of it, do exactly the same thing. So interesting, but you've always got that community out there. One thing that regularly pops up is the issue with cliques. And cliques are something I've had a lot of experience with when I've been in various groups and different networks and whatever I've been involved in, and this is business and personal. And one of the times it's come up was that I didn't realise I was in a clique, and I had someone, as I left it, people like, oh my God, did you not realise that's really cliquey? We didn't join that community because it came across as really cliquey. And I was like, didn't notice. No, because you talk to everybody. Once I was outside of it and I was excluded from things, then I realised, okay, my face doesn't fit in that group. And you straight away can make people feel really, really uncomfortable. And one thing to realise at this point is if it's your community, if you're leading that group, if you're leading those people or seen as leading those people, it is not always your fault that cliques will form. They will naturally form, because what happens as a community grows and grows and grows, more and more people go in, which means you'll get people with similar values but not completely the same values, or a completely different type of person, or as I like to call it, a rotten apple, which is always the case. If you're opening up your doors to everybody, everybody can come in. And there's no rules. We don't have fixed rules in society. We don't exclude people, or if you do, you're definitely not our people. We don't exclude people. Everyone is welcome. A bit like our networking events, anyone can come to our networking events. It's open to everybody. But it's not right for everybody, which is absolutely fine. But people can come along, try, and if they don't feel right or whatever it is, they don't come again. We always ask for feedback so we know and we can evolve. However, as a community grows, you then get smaller groups forming of people that are more like-minded. So they're slightly similar in some ways. So you could have a whole group of, say, 100 people, and you'll have like 6, 8 over here and another 6 or 8 over here. And it's a very subtle difference between everyone's welcome and no, not everybody is welcome. And it's a bit of a feeling. So going back to what I was saying about energy, it is that feeling from people. Do they talk to you and say hello? Because everything comes down to communication. Communication is absolutely key. It's so, so important. And some people will over communicate, some people will under communicate. You will have people who might be neurodiverse that can't cope with communicating in certain ways. Some people that just will communicate in all the ways, too much, too loud, and people can't cope with them. That is fine. But you need to recognise, if you're leading a community or you're looking at a community, you being the leader, you lead by example. So you want to talk to people, talk to everyone and say hello to everybody. You can't stand there and have a conversation in a very small group, and if someone comes along, they need to be welcomed. That group needs to physically open up. Hello, how are you? Come in. Yeah, join the conversation. Don't then go into technical language, which is a common one. People will then change and start using acronyms or very technical specific language that someone might not understand. Some people just will start talking direct. There won't be any turn to the rest of the group. They don't give eye contact to other people. And it's one way to avoid them as a leader is to lead by example, but make sure that new person is welcomed in and included in everything you do, because it's quite common if they're not, they will feel left out and not included, and people have their own then little sayings and jokes. And this is a key one, and it's really important for social media in particular, or text or WhatsApp or Facebook, whatever it is, where it's written down, where you do not get the tone from people. So you've got the danger of it happening in real life, but that's a very obvious one. No one's going to turn their back slightly on someone physically. If they are and they're that rotten apple, then that needs to be identified and kicked out straight away. And that's one really good way to avoid a clique, is just identifying that person, because you do get them and they can be quite nasty and sour, for want of a better phrase, with a rotten apple. But just identify them. They might not even know they're doing it, but it's really important for them to not make anybody feel unwelcome. Online, however, or anything in text or print, is very, very different. So you want to make sure that you get the tone. And one of the problems in particular in Facebook groups is the same people commenting all the time. I can't comment because that person's commenting, or shut down with people. I've been in WhatsApp groups before and everyone was having a laugh. I wrote something, someone didn't agree, and straight away I was shut down. But 3 or 4 comments ahead of me was very similar, but they weren't shut down. So immediately, because you've got no one around you, because it's all in that message or text, straight away you think, oh, well, everyone must feel like that, because you haven't got the views of everybody. And the negative will always outweigh the positive in that scenario. And it's the same with Facebook groups. Same people commenting, same people getting involved. You have to make sure everyone is comfortable to get involved and comment, and not for people to use in jokes. I've seen it before. Classic is a Facebook group. People will talk it, and all of a sudden someone will write something that only a select few people know what they're talking about. They might refer to a previous occasion or event. They might refer to an in-joke or a nickname that not everybody's aware of. And that is when you start to form, it's almost like a different language that people don't recognise or feel comfortable with. And that's when it's really, really important to just turn it slightly, but open it up to make sure everyone feels comfortable about getting involved and saying the right thing, because there's no such thing as the wrong thing. Unless you're being directly rude to someone or excluding someone, there's not a wrong thing to say. So just consider it. And there's a post I shared this morning, actually, but a really important post, that those that can't be controlled will be hated. And that's the problem. If someone can't control you, I mean, we can go down a whole road of political and issues at the moment, but we won't, because I know nothing about it whatsoever. I ignore the news because it's just too negative for me. But I have a vague idea of what's going on. I'm not head buried in the sand. If there is a nickname that someone's using, that everyone knows, and explain that nickname. So, because people might see, and especially on Facebook, they might use a different name, but people need to know behind that. People that are new don't understand, and then they can feel quite alienated because everyone's going, oh yeah, Bob, we're talking about Bob, we're talking about Bob. No, his name's Joe. Why aren't we talking about Joe? What? Someone needs to step in and have that, because not everyone feels comfortable asking those questions. And immediately that can almost have not a door shut, but almost a window shut, and then straight away people take a step back. Some people are absolutely fine with that, not be included, and they just sit on the outskirts and can dip in and out. But you need to be aware, especially as a leader, that not everyone's comfortable with that. Not everyone's aware of that. So just, that's one way to avoid a clique. Just make sure all of that is communicated in some way. Subtly, you don't have to go, here's this, here's that. But there's all different ways you can do that to make sure everyone is involved and doesn't feel. And always ask for feedback. Continually ask, How's this going? How do you feel? Do you enjoy this event, this group, whatever? Just so people know and feel comfortable with feeding back to you. You know how the group as a whole understands and feels and whether they enjoy it or not, which is really, really important. As a leader, it can be really, really difficult to set boundaries within your community. So just be conscious of making sure you've got that business, especially when it is business and personal. Who are you? How much are you sharing with yourself? Because that's another way of just making sure people are aligned with you. They've got the same morals or and values, but you don't have to have everybody in your group. Because some people like to share absolutely everything, and some people aren't comfortable with sharing absolutely everything. So it's really important to have those values with everybody. If you want to share everything and have cross into your personal life, that's fine. But if you're leading a community and you're heavily involved in building that, do you have go out for a drink or have a conversation with everybody equally in your business community, or do you then have friends? Are they friends? Are they clients? Where's the line in that? And that's okay to say they are not my friend. They might be an acquaintance, a client, a customer, and then you can easily keep that boundaries. That is absolutely fine to do, and never feel bad about that, because once you cross those boundaries, you can then make other people feel uncomfortable and a bit excluded. Because again, it's going back to the clique thing. Are they all a group of friends, or are they part of the business and clients? So just be conscious of that, because if you can make everyone feel comfortable, everyone knows the rules. We're British, we love a rule. Everyone knows the rules, everyone knows what the boundaries are, and then you can retain those customers and clients, and ultimately you can then grow together and work really, really well together. So if you've got someone who feels a bit outside or is not comfortable or wants to grow a community, this is all stuff we can absolutely help with, or bounce ideas off, or come and desk hire, spend a day when you're working on this side of things for your business, and we can chip in, ask questions, and we can definitely help with that. So, or alternatively, if you know someone that's struggling, send them this episode, ask them to listen, and as always, let us know what you think, because it's really, really important. We need to work with people we like and not people that make us feel uncomfortable and we don't like. So let us know what you think, and tag and like and subscribe as always to help a small business podcast like us, which is for small businesses. Thanks for listening.